Hi. This morning I want to make a second attempt. It's something I tried 2 days ago, which is to put on video the text with instructions for what is called welcoming prayer, which is actually a practice of presence in daily life. The first time I recorded it, it was accompanied by a very personal testimony, and I feel it became too long, and I don't find it very fitting for my purpose, which is that anybody can just hook to this video whenever they want, just the instructions for welcoming prayer. For people who are connected to that arena of practice, which I'll briefly explain what it is, and they can hook on to it and just listen to the instructions and the further recommendations at the page that I'm going to read, just to support their own practice in the same way that I intend to use this recording myself, which I imagine I'll very much need, because I'm at a trying time myself right now with health issues, and I feel that I have a lot to accept and a lot to welcome about life in every moment. And I can benefit from having this just recorded online, that I can access it from wherever I am and just support my own practice. So I'll just say that welcoming prayer is it's a practice, and I find it a very well put together practice of that supports what is called surrendered living. And I'm not going to go into all that. There's a lot to say about surrendered living. And if you want, you can try out other videos that I've already made and probably will make about surrendered living. But I'll just say that it's a practice that came from basically Thomas Keating and contemplative outreach. Thomas Keating was a wonderful spiritual teacher, which comes from the Christian tradition. I don't consider myself a Christian. I consider myself a spiritual seeker and a student of truth. And I just came to, organically came to practice Thomas Keating's teachings and studying it and being impacted by it. I also practice the main practice that he taught, which is centering prayer. And I do it online with a group from the Contemplative Outreach group, which is a worldwide organization that supports the practice of centering prayer, which centering prayer is a kind of a name that I find it's very I don't have the word, but centering prayer is actually meditation. Well, it's a way that Thomas Keating and other teachers from his era brought back meditation into the Christian tradition in a very special condensed and accurate form. So welcoming prayer is the complementary practice that is supposed to support people on their day-to-day living and allow them for a more both surrendered and present approach to life. How to go about life and not to be taken away by our thoughts, feelings, and whatever is happening to us in life, and stay centered in ourselves and in a sense of connection with our higher self, our higher faculties, spiritual faculties. Stay connected with them and stay connected to presence and stay present with this moment and with what is. And all of that, I find that the practice of welcoming prayer puts together in a very, as I said, condensed and very precise and efficient way, actually. So that is why I appreciate it. I practice and did practice in the past many methods and tools of presence and spiritual alignment. And lately I find that the welcoming prayer is so helpful for me, and I find it to be one of the most beautiful things that were put together for the sake of spiritual alignment. Find it suits me very well, fits me just the way that I am personally. And I came across lately this page that I'm going to read from. I'm going to put a link in the description below. It's just a page. It belongs to an organization, probably. There's a logo here that says the Cross Ministry Group. And it really does elaborate on the text of the welcoming prayer. The way, I guess, it was created by Thomas Keating. And then after that, after the text, it carries on in giving a few more words of inspiration and recommendations about the practice, which I really loved. So I'm going to read the actual text of welcoming prayer, and then I'm going to read the additional text that's here. So here goes. Welcoming prayer. Welcome. 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 I welcome everything that comes to me today because I know it's for my healing. I welcome all thoughts, feelings, emotions, persons, situations, and conditions. I let go of my desire for power and control. I let go of my desire for affection, esteem, approval, and pleasure. I let go of my desire for survival and security. I let go of my desire to change any situation, condition, person, or myself. I open to the love and presence of God and God's action within. Amen. Okay, so that was the actual text of centering prayer. I'm going to briefly say a comment that I have about this practice, which is very important. It's already there in the text, but sometimes I think people might lose track of that, of this distinction, which I find very important, that in the text, there's a lot of, I let go of this, I let go of that, and I wanted to make sure that people know not to make a personal whip out of that demand, as it were, to let go of wanting security, wanting survival. Of course, we want security. Of course, we want survival. Of course, we want pleasure. We're human beings, we're people in a culture, okay? So we were programmed. And if you don't know more deeply Thomas Keating's teachings, and even if you do, you might get caught up in this letting go thingy as a demand. And then you might demand that of yourself and lose sight of the fact that he says there, I also let go of the need to change myself. You know, it's there in the text. So my point is, it's not about the self with a little s, the personality trying to change itself, the personality trying to reprogram itself away from those programs of wanting all kinds of things like pleasure, like controlling life, like surviving. We cannot do that on our own. And that's an important point in my eyes. So I would, if you see yourself with a tendency to demand yourself to let go, first of all, stop and then soften up around it and try to replace the letting go with something softer, like instead of like, I let go of wanting control, you can say, I forgive myself for wanting control, right? So forgiving is already like, it's a gesture of softening and softening the grasp of trying and identifying with the need to control or to whatever. So you can replace I let go with I forgive myself for wanting to change myself or change someone else or everything that there is in that text. Another replacement can be I instead of let go, I give over my need to control or survive or have pleasure or whatever. I give over to God. I give over to my higher self because that enables us both to soften and also to connect, which is the whole point of the practice. The point of the practice is not to be perfect and not to be unhuman. It's not to unhuman ourselves. It does introduce an opening to gradually open our programs, our personality programs of trying to hold on to stuff, and transmit us to another state of mind or another frequency even of being centered otherwise, like being centered in ourselves in a different way that is not so caught up on controlling life and trying to get something from life so we'll be okay, and transitioning our center to be centered around something else, which is actually is connection to our higher self, trust in our higher self, yeah, a leaning of faith on something that is beyond us, that is more holistic, that is more absolute. And this is not an easy or simple transition for most people. So hence the practice, we need this help of the practice, and we cannot do it ourselves, and we cannot do it by the power of our only by the power of our will. What we do in this practice is express intention, but that's about it. We can't do a lot more than that. This is my experience, and I stand by it. And so make sure, just my comment is, make sure you're not making a whip out of this I let go thing, and see it just as like it's like a scan of light that goes over all the places where you're holding on this text, and it shows you, let me see the text again. It shows you all the places where you might be holding on to something, power, control, and then desire for affection, or desire to get esteem from outside, or approval, or pleasure. And then maybe you're holding on to survival or security. And it's okay, so all of these are okay, but it kind of scans like a scan beam of scan that goes down all over your psyche to expose all the places where you're holding on, so you can soften around them, and then it may assist you in transitioning to another, to holding on to something else, to holding on to one thing, the central thing, which is not security and survival and control, which is something else, which is faith, which is trust in the sublime, the one, the whole, which brought you here, which birthed you, which makes you breathe, and which will lay you to sleep when it's time. Okay, that was quite a long comment, but I feel it was necessary. I hope I'm right. And now I'm gonna read the rest of the the rest of the page. As I said, it will be, there's a link beneath the video for this page. So I'm going to read the rest. Some thoughts on the welcoming prayer. The welcoming prayer can be done in a moment, in a breath, It is about letting go. When we welcome what is in our life, it doesn't mean that we don't want or need change or growth. It means that we accept what comes our way and invite God into it. In His presence, we bring to Him our needs, our desires, our thoughts, our emotions, and our circumstances. Instead of fighting these things and those around us, we welcome them and God in them so that we can be transformed as we consent to His presence in all areas of our life. To fight against our reality, to demand and to grasp onto our desires, is one way of denying that God alone is our source of life, that God is our source of love and power. When we cling to our needs and our desires or demands that what is be different, we're attempting to control. When we let go and meet God in our reality, then we actually do become free and experience His presence, which does heal, provide our needs, and transforms us. If we grasp and control, our lives will be if we grasp and control our lives, we will inevitably create substitutes for a genuine resting in God and His provision. What are your substitutes? Now there's another line, like a paragraph here about the true self. The true self is a whole topic in Thomas Keating teachings. And there's this paragraph, which is, again, very condensed. I find it beautiful as well. Christ in you, the hope of glory. The path of mystery, which is the Christian life, is one where we experience God within, defenseless, open, consenting to His presence in everything and that comes our way. This is the true self that knows experientially that he or she is secure, protected, and loved. When we live in this new creation that God has given us, the true self, we can let go of our need to control ourselves or others. In this place, we are connected to God's love and power. So that's the text. And that's it. I'm gonna let you go now. And I hope that this one will benefit someone somewhere. It will benefit me for sure. So thanks. See you around. Bye-bye.